Hello. So, last video here. Here are some examples of how we do surface area for cylinders and for spheres. Okay? Now, here is our first example up here. I've written it all out here, fair and square, so I'll just kind of point to stuff. Okay? Here is a cylinder, and it's lying on its side, right? And so, but really, let me kind of zoom in on it closer. There we go. All right? And we can see that even though it's lying on its side, the height is 11, which is the distance between the two bases, and then the radius of the base there is 2, right? So I drew it kind of in its upright position here. 11 the height, 2 the radius, and we'll label them over here too. Here is our complicated looking surface area formula was this, right? But now, we just go ahead and the numbers that we've got, the radius and the height, we just plunk them into the calculator and we're carefully, so that we get the order of operations correct, we go ahead and we work through what the answer is. So over here, in this formula, we'll put 2 in for the radius, right? Because the radius is 2. And then over here, we'll put 2 in for the radius again, because the radius is 2. And then 11 for the height. And now we just simplify that. Pi is 3.14, so 2 squared is 4. So the first part is 2 times 3.14 times 4, which works out to be 25.1 after you round off to the 10th place. Here, this is 2 times 3.14 times 2 times 11. That multiplies out to give us 138.2, again, after I rounded off to the 10th place. And notice I did those two parts separately. And then I wrote them down. Because if you just type it in all at one time, the calculator might get confused about the order of operations and not give you the right thing. So it's better to do these two parts separately and then write their answers down. Now we add them and we get 163.26, or actually we should probably just round that off to be 163.3. Okay, so how that goes. Alrighty, so square centimeters. Okay, so the second one here, I'm going to hide it here for a second because I really want you to try this one on your own. Here, lazy thing is lying on its side again. Okay, and we see here if you draw it in its upright position, the height is 8, and they tell us that the diameter is 14. All of these formulas only use the radius, right? They only use the radius. So you've got to remember that you are going to use the radius in the formulas. And remember, I'll put it here, so there's not really quite enough. Well, I guess I'll put it up above here. Remember, this formula is going to be 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. Okay, so try that out and see how that goes. Okay, just to practice it, just to make sure you know how to do it. So if you're hearing me talking, that means you're not doing it. Okay, so hopefully you've come back. So we plunk 7 in for the radius, and then 7 in for the radius there, 7 in for the radius there, 8 in for the height there. And now we do each part separately. 7 times 7 squared is 7 times 7. So 7 times 7 is 49, times 3.14 times 2 works out to be 307.7. And then 2.2 times 3.14 times 7 times 8 gives us 351.7, rounded off. We add them together, and that's 659.4 square yards. Okay? Because the area is always squared. All right, so how about spheres then? Okay? So let's arrow down. Let's move the camera down here. here's finding the surface area for a sphere, and these are the simplest of all of them because it's one formula with the radius in it, and where it's going to be 4 pi r squared, right? So 4 times 3.14 times the radius, which is 1.8 times 1.8 times 1.8, multiplied all together is 40.7, rounded off. Okay? Square kilometers, because the units were kilometers. Now here's the next one, the last one. Try this one out here. I'll get closer. I'll look at this. They give us the radius again. So try out that formula. That I'll write it right here. 4 pi r squared formula to get the surface area. Okay, hopefully you'll put the video on pause and then do the thing on your own. Okay, you're back. I hope you did that, rather than just kind of waiting for me to do it for you. Here, the radius there is 7, so the surface area is 4 times 3.14 times 7 times 7. Okay, oopsie. And that's what I wrote there, 4 times 3.14 times 7 times 7. And Mr. Calculator says that all works out to be, multiplies out to be 615.44, which we will round up to, or round down to actually, 615.4 square centimeters, because we want to go out to the tenths place here. Okay, very good. So that's it. So these are some examples. Right now, what I'll do is, there's going to be some homework and some classwork that I'm going to put up, and I hope you'll try it out to make sure you know what you're doing, okay? And then the homework. And now, if you still have questions this coming Monday at 11:30, I will start up a conference call, a video conference, and you can sign on to the conference call and ask questions, okay? Or you can also email me questions as well. Alrighty? Bye.